health benefits of oregano go beyond a simple culinary spice for your spaghetti. In this episode, I'm going to share with you the best ways to make an oregano tea recipe with fresh oregano leaves and with dried oregano leaves. And I'm going to tell you why you choose one over the other. I'm also going to show you the many reasons that you want to pull oregano out of your spice cabinet more frequently. In other words, I've got all your questions about the health benefits of oregano tea covered. Hello and welcome to the Herbs with Rosalee podcast, a show exploring how herbs heal as medicine, as food, and through nature connection. I'm your host, Rosalee de la Forêt. I created this YouTube channel to share trusted herbal wisdom so that you can get the best results when relying on herbs for your health. I love offering up practical knowledge to help you dive deeper into the world of medicinal plants and seasonal living. Each episode of the Herbs with Rosalee podcast is shared on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast app. Transcripts and recipes for each episode can be found at herbswithrosaleepodcast.com or through the link in the video description. Also in the video description, you'll find other helpful resources. For example, to get my best herbal tips, as well as fun bonuses, be sure to sign up for my weekly herbal newsletter. Okay, grab your cup of tea and let's dive in. Oregano is commonly found in many spice cabinets, and it's most often thought of as a simple culinary herb. However, there are so many benefits of oregano. I especially think that oregano tea is underrated. In fact, oregano itself rarely gets the attention it deserves. In researching this episode, I looked through dozens of herbal books, and it was rare to find oregano listed. It's really surprising that this potent and effective plant is so often overlooked. Oregano is originally from the Mediterranean, and it loves to grow in hot conditions with well-drained soil. Oregano is an important culinary and medicinal herb all around the Mediterranean, including in North Africa, Italy, and the Middle East. It's widely reported that oregano didn't actually become popular here in the US until after World War II, when soldiers brought it back from southern Italy. While you're watching, let me know in the comments below about your experiences with oregano leaves. It's always interesting and insightful to hear the experiences of plant lovers out there. Also, your suggestion may help others. Oregano is a hot herb. If you're wondering what I mean by that, simply nibble on a fresh leaf. If you've got good quality oregano, then you'll most likely find that it's spicy hot in a similar way to, say, like garlic or cayenne. Knowing whether a plant is hot or cool or damp or dry is a foundational herbal skill referred to as herbal energetics. Knowing a medicinal herb's energetic profile is just as important, or perhaps even more important, than memorizing its herbal actions and uses. Even more importantly, when you know herbal energetics, you'll be much more successful in figuring out the best herbs for you as an individual. That means that you can work with herbs both more safely and effectively. My first book, Alchemy of Herbs, shows you exactly how to choose herbs that are best for you based on herbal energetics. So if these concepts are new to you, check out that book to get a foundational understanding. Okay, back to the health benefits of oregano. This plant is so hot that nibbling on a potent fresh leaf can actually leave your tongue feeling a bit numb. The heat from oregano is diffusive in nature, and it's used to break up stagnation in the respiratory tract, digestive tract, and the female reproductive system. That sounds fancy, but it's actually something you can easily feel for yourself. I'm going to show you how to make oregano tea recipes in just a bit to show you exactly what I mean. Oregano leaves are wonderful for people who have a tendency to feel cold and damp. They're also great in the short term for anyone who has acute symptoms of cold and damp. So let's look at this more deeply for specific situations. As a culinary herb, oregano excels as an herb for digestion, both because it's effective, but also because it tastes so good. Who doesn't want their medicine to taste good? It's, of course, a signature flavor in famous tomato-based dishes such as pizza sauce, marinara sauce for pasta, and it's commonly used in spice blends like za'atar, herbes de Provence, and adobo seasoning. Oregano's hot and dispersive nature make it ideally suited when someone has symptoms of cold and damp and stagnant digestion. So what does that mean? Well, symptoms include a slow stomach emptying, a heavy feeling in the gut long after eating, flatulence, belching, a thick white coat on the tongue, feeling frequently bloated, and slow transit time in the bowels. To support healthy digestion on a day-to-day basis, oregano can be used in small amounts as a seasoning in meals. To address the more upsetting symptoms of a cold and stagnant digestion, I recommend using it as a very strong tea. Oregano is a strong antimicrobial herb that has been shown to be effective against a variety of bacteria and fungi in vitro. One randomized, double-blind study showed that an oregano extract ointment decreased bacterial contamination and infection of post-surgical wounds. For external use, oregano can be brewed as a tea or used diluted as a tincture, as a wash to inhibit pathogens on the skin. It's often used internally for digestive pathogens. Internally, I recommend using it as a tea or tincture rather than an essential oil. When using the essential oil externally, it needs to be properly diluted, and the dilution amount varies depending on the person's sensitivity. Oregano leaves tea or diluted oregano tincture can be used as a mouthwash too. For best results, swish for several minutes, even up to 20 minutes at a time. Oregano leaves can be used to disperse cold and stagnant acute conditions associated with the cold or the flu, influenza. Prepared as a tea or an herbal steam, it can break up congestion in the sinuses and the lungs. When feeling chilled due to a fever, oregano tea or a bath made with oregano tea can support the fever process by helping the body to heat up. The infused honey or tea can relieve the pain of a sore throat. A 2019 study in Canada looked at 13 different hot herbal infusions and their effectiveness against the bacteria that often causes sore throats, namely strep throat. They found that oregano was one of the best herbs that they had studied for addressing the bacteria that causes the strep throat. They concluded that oregano tea is a safe treatment for the management of discomfort conditions associated with strep throat of the streptococcal pharyngitis patients. They surmise that the antibacterial and antibiofilm properties of oregano tea may have various mechanisms of action, including the direct destruction of the cell wall membrane, inhibition of biosynthesis of cell wall membranes, and the inhibition of protein synthesis involved in growth, adherence, and biofilm formation. So basically, the health benefits of oregano tea includes disrupting biofilms, which is one mechanism that bacteria use which makes them resistant to antibiotics. So cool! It's also worth mentioning that this was an in vitro study. It'll be interesting to see if human clinical trials come out to further understand the health benefits of oregano tea. I love that this study was specifically looking at oregano tea, a simple preparation that you can easily make at home. In just a bit, I'll show you how you can make your own oregano tea. Also, in the show notes, you can find a link to download an ebook gift, which includes a sore throat tea recipe that uses other herbs that was also found to be effective in this study. Oregano also moves stagnation within the pelvis and has been used for hundreds of years as a way to stimulate delayed menstruation. It's especially indicated when there are accompanying signs of coldness. Because of this, oregano is contraindicated in large doses that go beyond culinary amounts during pregnancy. Oregano is currently very popular as an essential oil. It's often sold as oil of oregano, which is the essential oil that's diluted in a carrier oil like olive oil. There's no doubt that the oil of oregano preparation is potent. I think people are often drawn to this powerful remedy because its effects are both immediate and forceful. However, there's lots of safety issues associated with this preparation. For example, exceeding safe dosages is easy. While I was in clinical practice, I worked with several people who are dealing with long-term negative effects of taking oil of oregano internally. Used externally, oregano essential oil can burn your skin. It's that hot and irritating. I most often reach for whole herb medicines because they're safer and often even more effective than highly refined essential oils. Please be cautious when choosing to use oil of oregano. You need to pay attention to how much you take and how often you take it or how long you take it. And if you're really trying to use a pure oregano essential oil internally, then please work with an experienced practitioner who can show you the appropriate way to dilute the oil so you don't burn your mucous membranes. There are over 50 species in the genus Origanum. For this episode, I'm focusing on oregano, Origanum vulgare. Oregano is also a member of the mint family and contains the common mint family characteristics, including square stems, opposite leaves. Oregano thrives in hot, dry growing conditions and in fast draining soil. It's a perennial herb that grows in zones 4 through 10. Oregano is easy to grow in the garden or in a container. However, if you want to grow really vibrant oregano, here's a couple of things to look out for. Overwatering it can easily dilute its flavor, so go easy with the watering can. Oregano really does prefer the heat. Oregano that's grown in cold and damp climates might not be as spicy or potent. Here's a look at the botanical characteristics. The leaves are simple and ovate with a pointed tip. The flowers range from white to pink to purple with 5 petals that fuse into a tube. The flowering stalks can reach 2 feet high. Bees love these flowers. When harvesting your own fresh oregano, it's best to harvest just before the flowers bloom. However, because the bees love this plant so much, I harvest some oregano for me and then leave some oregano to flower for the bees. If you're wondering why it's best to harvest before it flowers, then I suggest nibbling on some oregano leaves through the growing stages. You'll probably find that the younger oregano is hot, but also fragrant and bright tasting. More mature oregano, especially during or after flowering, has a more bitter or turpentine flavor that I personally don't find pleasant, but give it a taste, see what you think. To harvest oregano, cut the tops with sharp scissors right at the leaf axis. Leave several inches or leaves still on the plant, and it will continue to grow. Before we get to the tea recipes, I want to mention how you can find the best oregano for your teas. Growing oregano in your garden or even in a container outside your door or in your windowsill is a great way to get to know the plant and to easily harvest it. If you're not up for growing your own, then look for fresh oregano at your local farmer's market or at the fresh herb section of your grocery store. You know, oregano leaves are good quality when they are aromatic and the leaves taste spicy and hot. If you're buying dried oregano, look for organic and fair trade to ensure you're getting the best quality and the best outcome for people and the planet. If you have oregano sitting in your spice cabinet and it's several years old, then it's probably time to get an upgrade. Give it a taste, see if it's vibrant. If not, compost that and look for some new, freshly dried oregano. Visit the show notes to see my recommendations on where to buy high-quality dried oregano. There are so many ways to enjoy oregano leaves, whether it's as a culinary spice or made into medicines like infused honey, vinegar, oxymel, tinctures, and so on. Today, I want to show you one of my favorite and I think most underrated preparations, oregano tea. For this, I don't want to just show you how to make oregano tea, but also why you would choose to make it with fresh leaves or with dried oregano leaves. Oregano can be used either fresh or dried, but it's actually often preferred dried. Drying oregano concentrates its aromatic oils and gives it a stronger flavor. Drying herbs also makes them easier to extract into the water. However, that doesn't mean that the fresh leaves are bad or wrong, they're just different. When making oregano tea with fresh leaves, I like to infuse them into cold or room temperature water. This cool water method extracts the bright aromatic flavors of oregano for this delicious and refreshing beverage. I love this on hot summer days. You can also do a cool water tea with the dried leaves, but I think the dried leaves really shine with the hot water extraction. Hot oregano tea made with dried leaves is a strong and powerful tea. When you drink it, you'll find that it helps to move stagnation, whether that's mucus in your respiratory tract or stuck digestion. This is also an ideal preparation for when you want to support the fever process, when you feel cold. It truly warms you up. I'm going to share 2 recipes with you showing you both of these methods. I recommend that you try them both and see just how different they are. I promise you that by trying these 2 oregano tea recipes, you'll have such a clear and solid picture of when you would want to choose one over the other. If you'd like even more oregano tea recipes, then visit the show notes to download a special ebook gift from me to you. Here's how to make an oregano tea recipe with fresh oregano leaves. Ingredients: a small handful of fresh oregano leaves, finely chopped, a quart of room temperature water, 2 slices of lemon, which is optional. Place all the ingredients in a glass container with a lid. Shake well, and then place that in the fridge for at least 30 minutes or even overnight. When you're ready, you can strain if desired and then drink within 48 hours. There's no preservative in this, so you'll want to drink it soon and leave it in the fridge if you're not actively drinking it. Discard this tea if it smells off or if it appears to be a bit cloudy. Here's how to make a hot oregano tea recipe with dried oregano leaves. Ingredients are 1 tablespoon of finely crumbled dried oregano leaves, a ½ ounce of just boiled water, and then honey or another sweetener of your choice to taste. Begin by crumbling the oregano leaves by rubbing them between your palms or even pulsing them in a spice grinder. This helps to increase the potency of the tea. Steep the dried oregano leaves in the hot water, covered for 3 to 5 minutes. Covering this is really important as it'll keep more of those volatile oils and flavor within the tea. You also don't want to oversteep this. 3 to 5 minutes is plenty. When it's done, strain, add honey or your desired sweetener, and drink while warm. If you want to sip this throughout the day, then I recommend putting it in a small thermos to help keep it warm. Well, there you have it. 2 delicious ways to make oregano tea recipes with fresh oregano leaves and with dried oregano leaves. Making both of these teas and then comparing the difference between them is a fabulous way to really understand the health benefits of oregano tea. As you drink these, pay attention to the difference in taste, but also spend a few moments noticing how you feel. The hot water tea especially can give you a sense of what it means for the hot herb to move stagnation in your body. You might notice that your sinuses or lungs expectorate or move mucus, or you might notice that your digestion starts rumbling. The simple act of knowing how an herbal tea works for you is an important step in helping you choose the right herb for any given situation. If you'd like even more recipes for oregano tea, then visit the show notes in the video description to get a free ebook of recipes from me to you. Also in the video description, I've included other helpful links like where you can buy oregano as well as both of my books. If you've enjoyed this video on the health benefits of oregano tea and you value trusted herbal information, then I hope you'll stick around. The best way to get started is to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can be the first to get my best herbal insights and recipes. Oregano Fun Fact. The word oregano comes from 2 Greek words meaning joy and mountains. In Greek mythology, oregano was created by Aphrodite and grown in her garden on Mount Olympus.